Hey, it's Ted here. I'm in my backyard getting ready to change the oil in my wife's Volvo. She has a 2016 Volvo V60 T5, which has the inline 5 engine. It's turbocharged, and it needs to have an oil change done reasonably often. The dealer says 10,000 miles. I say 5,000, just like my truck. So I tried getting under it and playing around, and I said there's got to be a better way. So what I ended up doing was trying the old marine mechanics method and using a pump out bucket. Guess what? Works great. So let me show you what we're doing here. Okay, so I've got this vacuum pump that I bought online. I bought it through Blue Point, I think. I think it's also available online. Just look at it. You can find it online. It works great. I'm going to give it a couple more pumps. Right now, it's in the process of pulling the oil out of the oil pan through the dipstick. Not a lot of vehicles can you do this, but this one you can. Okay, and I've done this a couple times. It's getting pretty close. There we go. You hear it gurgling. Move the dipstick tube in and out until it starts pulling oil again. Here's the next thing. I'm going to change the oil filter. It's nice and easy to get at, and I'll show you where it is. Okay, so down here in the front of the engine is the cover for it down there, and I'll zoom in. And I was trying to figure out, there's a Volvo special tool for that, and I said, you know what, in my arsenal I've got some 1/2-inch drive tools, and I found a socket that fits it, which is not metric, it should be, but 1 7/16 fits on it. So here's the cover down here, and it is a hex head. So what I did was, because the throttle body and the intake is in the way, I can reach in here with this and a flexible socket, put that on there at an angle, and all I need to do really is break it loose with a 1/2-inch socket. So I'm just going to turn that, get that to loosen up, move it back a little bit, turn it again, get it to loosen up, turn it again, and with the universal, guess what? It comes right out. And there's no sensors or anything in the way that you're going to damage doing this. I was a little nervous about that, so I looked around. There's nothing there. There's a little hose, but that's welded aside. Now we can take that cover off while she gets the other oil filter ready. A little pick tool for the actual gasket. Make sure you get a filter that comes with a new O-ring. Okay. I've got a little pick tool here to pull the O-ring out of the other one, so I'll get that ready. Alright, so I got the oil filter ready to come out. Let's take the cover off. And the filter comes out with it. Okay, so there we go. There's the filter, right? You got an O-ring on there. We're going to change that O-ring, and that just pulls out. That's it. Nothing special. And that's a cartridge filter. Put the new O-ring on there. These will expand over time, so it's a good idea you change them each time you do an oil filter change. So that's it. That's that part. Now my new oil filter. It is not directional that I've ever seen, and that just fits on there nice. Put that back in there and thread that back on. There's probably a torque spec for this. I have no idea what it is. So what I do is I bring it down because it's an O-ring seat, and I very lightly snug it up. I do not want to crack that plastic housing. Again, it's aluminum body of the block, but it's a plastic cover. So I'm just going to put this, my magic adjustment tool, right? So I'm going to bring this back in. This is some Yankee ingenuity here, folks. I've been up here in the Northeast my whole career, We have to do stuff like this all the time. All right. That feels good and snug. That won't leak. So again, went in a 7/16. Got a little adapter here and an extension, and about a 9-inch extension on a 1/2-inch ratchet. I'm gonna do a little bit more pumping here. Move that dipstick around. There we go. We got a little bit more oil coming out. A little bit of patience. Went solid again. I had to pull it up. So I'm probably down to the dipstick, and I'm actually, the tube's turning around at the bottom of the pan. Close. We're almost there. It looks like that's about it. Go. All right, so I got ready to put the oil back in it, and that pretty much is going to be it. All right, so we got the oil changed here. We got the filter changed. You could see that. I've made just a couple little drops of oil here I got to clean up. A little easier than getting underneath the car and you know, crawling around under it. I'm just going to put the standard Mobil 1 fully synthetic high mileage in it. I use that in everything now. It's just the price point is about the same. It's not that much. All right, so we're going to put oil in. Alright, so there's 5 quarts. I've at least pumped that much out of it. Let's see what the dipstick says. Pull that out again. Remember, you want to be halfway up the dipstick, not all the way up. Halfway is full. All the way is overfull. There's room for expansion. There's 5 quarts, right on the money. So it's right in the middle of the dipstick. I still got to start it up, and I got to check the oil level after I run it to fill that filter up and make sure there's no leaks. All right, let's start it up. Add another quarter of a quart maybe. Okay. Yep, right on the halfway mark on the bottom, so that's perfect. So 5 1/4 quarts it looks like. I'm going to look up and see what the capacity is, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty close. Probably 5.5 metric or something like that. So we'll check on that and I'll let you know. Alright, so you can see how much oil has been pumped out of that container. And I think that's pretty close to 3 gallons is in that container. So it's definitely pretty close to 5.5 quarts for sure. But this pump out tool works just great. It really is a bonus to have this. I've saved a lot of time. Used to use a 12-volt electric one, and the leads would get broken and all that. This also will pump out, so if you want to pump out of it, then you just push this knob off. The only thing I'll tell you that I don't like is this hose adapter here. You need to put tie wraps or something on here. I've got to find a better method so I can increase the diameter of this. And I have this piece of fuel hose here that I just keep the plastic tube in so it doesn't fall out when I'm carrying it around. But this really is a nice tool to use for oil changes. It's, you know, no electric, real easy, all set.